Did you know that 33% of people give up on their dreams simply because they fear failure? Have you ever been excited to start something but felt so paralyzed at the thought of it just not working out? I definitely have. Fear of failure is one of the biggest silent dream killers, and especially in entrepreneurship. But what if failure wasn't the end? What if just thinking about failure didn't stop you anymore? What if something was God ordained? We are getting into this today, talking about rethinking your relationship with failure. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode. I'm Emily. I'm a certified Christian life and business coach, and this is our segment every Friday on Christian entrepreneurship. And I am so glad that you are here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and go ahead and follow because I know you're going to find value in this video and more to come. Whether it's the fear of launching your business or writing that book, or even sharing your idea, even just speaking it audibly, that's even hard to do sometimes. Fear holds so many of us captive, and it is a normal part of life, especially as adults, because let's just say once you get out of childhood, you get the wind kind of knocked out of your sails when you realize the gravity of adulthood and what it really takes to survive in this world. That's a definite normal part of life. But here's the thing, God is not a God of fear, and He does not want us to live out our life being captivated by being too scared to do something, especially when He is calling us to it. God gave us a spirit of power, love, and sound mind. That's 2 Timothy 1:7. So let's take a look at how fear sneaks in and how we can kick it to the curb. Fear of failure shows up in so many different ways. And maybe it's just simply procrastinating on that business idea that you have. Maybe you've convinced yourself you're not ready, it's not the right time. I know I've used all those same excuses in my own entrepreneurship journey. Fear of failure always just feels like it's too overwhelming to deal with. And it has a lot to do with just finances, pride, image, just our intrinsic values, the things that we're too scared to take on, being risk adverse. How risk adverse are you as a person? All these things are a typical mind spin that people go through if they're trying to risk something for a gain in any respect, but especially in business. Even just avoidance is a symptom of fear. So, all these small actions or inactions or feelings are just cycles of self doubt that keep us paralyzed. The fear of hearing no or things not turning out perfectly can easily stop us in our tracks before we ever get going. The scripture tells us, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. I love this verse. This is in Zechariah 4:10. God is in all of it, even the small little first steps. I know when I was starting my blog, simply figuring out and researching how do I even write a blog? Like, where does it go on the internet? I was not aware of this. So even just looking up people's blogs and scrolling and being like, okay, so this is what a blog is. God had given me that idea, but I had never considered it or done anything in that realm before. So it was something new. And oftentimes you will find your mindset is going to stop you because anything that you want to do differently or new takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of brain power to think about all the different options and things that could happen, go wrong. And immediately your brain wants to conserve energy. So for a lot of things, not even business related, just in general, if you think about something, your immediate thought is usually a negative. Why? Because your brain wants to conserve energy. So it immediately tells you a reason why not to, because then it doesn't have to engage. And that is a survival mechanism, but one we have to practice moving past. And I love this challenge because it is factual. I have done so many inventories that are just being mindful of this, especially with coaching clients. I just tell them, you need to spend time during the day reflecting on your thoughts and take account of to how many times your brain tells you something negative about something. Or, no, I don't feel like doing that. Oh, I'm not calling that person back right now. No, I'm not answering that email. Your brain is constantly trying to conserve energy. And when you know that fact, you can see it clear as day, which is so helpful in overcoming that obstacle. So fear is very much like that because when you think of something new, fear is definitely going to keep you from engaging because you don't want to experience fear. That's a negative emotion. So why are people afraid to fail though? Fear of failure often stems from perfectionism or worrying about other opinions. Maybe in the past you've experienced failure. Maybe you've had rejection or setbacks. And now it feels safer to just not try at all. I know that it's hard for me to admit this, but for a while, and when my husband and I first got married, I didn't want kids because of fear. And that was something that God delivered me from. Satan had me wrapped in this idea that it was just better to not have kids so that I wouldn't ever have to experience the pain that might come along with that. When your kid gets hurt, when unexpected things happen. For me, it was like a safeguard. It's like I would rather just not experience any of that. And that was fear. That was Satan having held captive of something that I truly did always desire and want. There's been nothing more great in my life than becoming a mother. And Satan was trying to keep me from that reality out of fear. Society teaches us to avoid failure at all costs, but God's way is different. James 1:2-4 reminds us, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Growth happens in the discomfort. We get better, we get smarter, we get stronger from things that cause us to persevere. Why would you ever work out if you didn't gain something from it? Working out is not fun. If we didn't have to, we wouldn't. I learned that I have to for my mental health. For me, I am a health nut and I love health and I get very caught up in all the new stuff about health and researching our bodies, but still, I don't like to work out, right? But through testing and strengthening and going through trials, we get stronger and we get better and we become better versions of ourselves. So growth happens in that discomfort, and failure is not an end. It's totally part of the process. We always hear that. So how do we break fear out of our mindset so that we can actually start taking action on this God-sized dream that we have to start this business, to do this thing, to launch it into the world, to have a successful business, ministry, whatever it is that you're focused on right now? First, we need to reframe our thoughts. Failure isn't final. It's feedback. I love that because it's such an accurate depiction. I have failed so many times on my entrepreneurship journey, on my content creation journey, on this very YouTube channel. I have over 300 videos, y'all. 300 videos on this channel. I've had this channel since I'll have to go back and look. I can't remember. It's been a few years. And I was going live like 3 times a week, putting out videos. I did the best I could in the season that I was in, having 3 small children, going through all kinds of stuff in the season of pumping out content. And when I measure my channel up against other people's, I have 3 times the amount of videos of some channels that have millions of people subscribing and watching and who got monetized within 60 days of being on YouTube. No, y'all, I'm on like year, I don't even know, 4 maybe with this channel. Now, granted, I did take a big size break from posting on here, but still, it's disheartening. But I'm here, I'm doing it again because you know what? God's calling me to do this. So I'm having faith in Him. No matter what the outcome is, this is part of my journey. Being on YouTube is part of my journey, no matter how successful or unsuccessful it may become. So it's feedback. Second, lean into God's promises. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, he failed by sinking, but Jesus reached out and filled him up with courage. Matthew 14:29 verse 31 or 31. I love this story in the Bible. Think about that. Could you imagine being in that boat and there being a storm and crazy waters, and Jesus goes out onto the water and he turns to you and tells you to step out? Would you have enough faith to do that? Would you have enough faith to step out and not be fearful of sinking? It's an unbelievable story about God and His presence in our life. So we need to take that first step, trusting that even if we stumble, God is there and nothing is surprising to Him. That always gives me comfort because like as a parent with my small kids, I can call out something that's going to happen, right? Like you have eyes in the back of your head. It's like, oh my gosh, they're standing on top of that footstool right now. I already see them leaning over, missing the edge of that, falling down. Yeah. And you can call it out like, you're going to skip, you're going to miss that. You're going to fall down. You're going to hit your head. You need to get down now. It's like, you can see it playing out. And God sees it all playing out too. And so He's our safety net. He's the voice of reason. He's the voice of discernment. And even if we fail And as a child, even if my child falls, I'm right there to pick him up. I'm right there to nurture, to console, to help. But it's also growing a relationship with me. My child trusts me. If I say something, typically might happen, right? And so that gives us a stronger connection to our Savior when we do things that are a little bit uncomfortable or bring up a little bit of fear, because we know that God has our best interest at heart. And if He's calling us to something, that's part of our journey. So we should embrace it and not live in the fear. We need to live in action. So I want to share a quick story. You know Truett Cathy. Do you know who that is? He is the founder of Chick-fil-A. He had many restaurants before Chick-fil-A that completely failed and they didn't work out. Tons of losses, tons of obstacles, but every setback, he learned something more about the restaurant industry. He learned about what he did value about the business, what he wanted to change about it. There's great stories about his life and everything that he worked through in this industry. So his commitment to honoring God in his business decisions led to Chick-fil-A being one of the best ones in the world. And even though it's closed on Sunday, which I love looking at the stats, like how much money he's losing by not being open on Sunday. It doesn't matter though, because they make up for it in spades the other 6 days. Like they still went out against very formidable fast food chain restaurants. It just reminds us that failure is not an end. Obedience to God is the means with which we can walk through fear and take action on those things that God is calling us to do. If you have a dream to start a business, there is a reason God is calling you to that. And you should see it through. It doesn't even, the destination matters, and that should be like what helps us set our goals and know what we're working towards. But it also doesn't, it's not the whole destination. Like the journey is the process, and God is calling you for that journey for a purpose. So you don't know what's on the other end of that. You don't know what unimaginable success is there, what stories there, what relationships get built through that. You don't know how your relationship will change with God and how much richer your life will be simply because of that piece of it. God has pruned me and sanctified me and held me all through my entrepreneurship journey. And I'm not anywhere near where I want to be in my own flesh with my business. I want to be so many steps ahead of where I am. And I have just found contentment and really wrestled through this by surrendering it all to the Lord, because ultimately He knows what is best for me, what the timing is, what matters, what the reasoning is. He knows why I'm on this journey, and I'm trusting Him and His guidance and His love for me and the promises that He has made to each one of us about what our life means to Him. And that's the truth. Failure is only final if you stop trying. Every step that you take, even the missteps, bring you closer to where God wants you to be. In fact, failure can be one of God's greatest teachers if you let it. Proverbs 24:16 says, though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. So rise up. Your future is too important to be stuck being scared. Are you a fraidy cat? I don't think you are. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one fear that you've been facing so far in this entrepreneurship journey, and how did God show up in the process? I know you have a testimony. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I want to hear and I want to know like how this is playing out for you. It's so fun to have a community that is understanding of what you're walking through. And I found so much joy in connecting with other Christian entrepreneurs, because we get it. Like our business, we want to be successful on paper, obviously, but there's so much more to it, to us, than just the profit margin. And I love to see how God has taken businesses and made them absolute beacons for His glory. And that doesn't mean your business has to be about God. It could be about making shoes, but to see God's radiance through shoemaking is a thing, okay? There are so many amazing companies doing amazing work because they're Christians and they make shoes. Like, I want to hear your testimony, and I would love to just read through those, and I know the rest of us would too. So please share those in the comments. I just want to encourage you that being fearful of starting something is totally normal, and I'm not chastising you for having fear, but turn that fear into excitement. It's kind of like that adrenaline. It just gives you an energy that gives you a focus each day to walk through it and be like, I'm fighting this fear and I'm going to make one step towards making this come alive and seeing where God takes it. And that is the excitement about this time that we're in right now too, because I just feel each person that's ever been created by the Lord, which is everyone, we were all born in the time that we should have been born in. And right now, the time to start a business and to have an impact is honestly boundless, because there is so many opportunities and ways in which to launch your business, to launch your ministry, to launch your nonprofit organization. There is just absolutely endless options and ways that you can fit this business into your life, whether it's your full attention, whether it's on the side, whether it's part-time, whether it takes different iterations. Maybe it's online, maybe it's in person, maybe it's all different ways. So that is what is exciting. And if you've felt paralyzed by fear, but you know that God is calling you to build something meaningful and you want to start taking action, and maybe you've considered, like, how would I do this maybe online? That is what I love. My entire entrepreneurship journey so far has been online, meaning even my one-on-one coaching has been via Zoom or video call. So I've been able to build businesses online, and that has had its own set of challenges. I've also helped build a products-based business where we had inventory and stored it and kept up with that and took it to trade shows and had it online and in stores. Like, I've done that too. I've had many different ways in which I've fed this entrepreneur spirit of me. And I've been so energized by the online space, because you truly can pivot pretty much any business somehow, some way into an online stream of revenue. Even if you have a brick and mortar store, there can be a component that's online. So I have a program that I love talking about. It's called the Legacy Builders Program, and it's going to equip you with tools and strategies and a community, a 24/7 community and coaching, continual coaching to help you start and scale an online business, teach you the foundations and the fundamentals of running an online business and what that can look like for you. So it's going to give you a complete breakdown of every piece of an online business, a proven blueprint of a successful online formula for launching an online business. And this you can take and you can launch it even if you don't have your own product. And then you can also take what you learn in this program and pivot it into what you already are doing. You can learn these skill set. And that's what is so amazing about the online space. Once you harness the knowledge and understand digital marketing, how to be an online marketer, how to have an online business, you can translate that skill into so many different ways and so many different opportunities to leverage your expertise, leverage what you're passionate about and what you create to a market that is boundless, to use that word again, but everyone's online. So it's a market that's hasn't ever been before. I mean, it's unbelievable that you can reach people all across the world in an instant. And that is the power of being able to leverage what God is calling you to. Like, think about all the different people that you could be impacting with what you learn. So whether you're launching for the first time or you're trying to grow something, you'll get access to so many in-depth trainings, expert insights, and practical resources to turn your dreams into a reality, to start funding your calling and taking action, not in fear, but of an excitement and hope for what is to come. God is calling you to step out in faith. No matter what small or big action you take today, take it. And don't let fear stop you from building the legacy you've been called to create. So comment legacy below. I'll send you some more information, or you can check out the link in the show notes and get information on this Legacy Builders program. It's one that I'm a part of, one that I've seen leveraged in my own business to help me grow my business and also have an additional set apart stream of income. It's been amazing. And my very own coach and mentor has had just such a beautiful hand in keeping all of the content relevant to the ever-changing online world so that you are getting firsthand, up-to-date information on keeping your online business rocking and rolling. And you're going to love this program. I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been a complete game changer. So tell me today, what key takeaway has inspired you to take action in your business right now, today? No matter what plans God has for you, they're never going to happen if you don't take the action. So get started right now. You have nothing to lose. Bye for now.